Hey everyone, in this video we're going to look at how to do a different type of repair to Tolex on cabinets. Had this old Mesa cab from the 80s. Didn't really want to strip the whole thing down and put all new Tolex on. One, it's hard to find original 80s Mesa Tolex as far as the texture pattern. And additionally, it's a huge amount of work to strip that and put all new Tolex back on. Taking the old off, tracing the patterns to the new, cutting that out, gluing. It's a lot of work. I've done heads before, and it takes a long time to do this. The repairs that are covered in today's video, outside of installation and waiting things to dry, was a couple of hours. So the experimentation is really, how do you figure out a way to repair those holes that will stick and last a long time, carrying it around, getting bumps and things like that nature. I tried some of the leather repair tools, kits that are available, and I could easily pull those back off with a knife. So, and I kind of landed on a process of making a silicone mold to match the texture of the original Tolex. And then I found some hot glue gun sticks that matched the color and the flexibility that I was looking for. I'll post those links below. So this video covers that process of making the mold and just basically taking these things one at a time and just fixing them and reassembly with some new parts. Hope you enjoy the video. Materials used are linked down below, and let us know if you have any questions. So here, just going through and starting the cleaning process and prep for the silicone mold. This is crucial as far as getting as close as possible to the texture of the Tolex. And here, measuring out the two-part components for the mold itself. Instructions are pretty clear. I like to measure things by weight, which is why you can see I'm using that scale there. And just make sure you stir it for 15 to 30 seconds. So here we're spraying the silicone mold release. So this was after it's cleaned. You spray this down, decent coat. You don't want it saturated to where it's runny, but it's meant to help the mold come off a little bit easier. I'm just using a regular white glue gun stick here for like the perimeter of the mold. So this is just like a dam or something. You just wrap it around it, and we'll be pouring the silicone inside of this, and that'll make a little small patch. The steam is coming from the silicone spray. And here's where we're going to pour the silicone mold right inside of the little dammed up area. It self-levels. Just kind of spread it around a little bit. Follow the instructions. I think it said to let it dry for a couple of hours. And I think I let mine dry overnight, just to be safe. Using a plastic tool here to break loose the glue, the bridge part on the outside. Looking back on this, probably would have been a little bit easier to use like silicone caulk rather than the hot glue gun. So I'll probably use silicone next time. And now just peeling up both pieces. Doing a quick visual inspection, peeling the perimeter off just leave the silicone mold part. And here's a little bit of a close-up. You can clearly see the texture. Perfect match to the Tolex. So now this is just a quick walk around just to show how bad the cab was. Just tons of little dings and tears. No real big cuts, no big large sections of missing Tolex. And that's kind of where I wanted to try something a little bit different. And plus here you can see there's still a bunch of dirt and stuff. I have not scrubbed this yet. It's a little further down the video. Disassembly of some of the parts before I start scrubbing and cleaning and prep for the repairs. And then this is taking a scalpel and cutting some of the pieces of Tolex that were loose. So basically I just trimmed everything down to where the new patches will be level. I think that whole process took about an hour. And now the scrubbing. Lots and lots of scrubbing. I didn't record all of it, but I did wipe this off and redo it several times for each side of the cabinet. It was very dirty. Bar smoke, you know, all the usual stuff. Here's the first test. And this is where I'm using the black hot glue gun stick and then just pressing on the silicone mold, holding it down. The nice thing about the silicone is you can feel the heat on your hand, so you get a real good sense of when it's cooled down enough to take off the silicone mold. And just like that, pretty much gone. And that is smooth to the touch. You couldn't even feel that. And now it's just pretty much, now that I liked how that turned out, I just rinse and repeat across all the other repairs. One nice thing about using the silicone as your kind of mold is you can see I'm bending it around the corners, so I can put a little bit of that flexible hot glue on there, and I kind of stretched it. That way, as you can see, it's really hard to tell where the repairs were done. So it works great for flat areas, and it works just as well on curves. A lot of guys will buy the kits that have just like generic textures, and they're a lot stiffer, so it makes it harder to go around the curves. So that's kind of why I went with the silicone, is because I knew I was going to have to bend it around the corner of the cab. See here, just some more repairs. Most of these were, about 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch in size. A few were larger, but not too many. So I decided on this corner that I didn't want to fill the whole thing with that glue. One thing I didn't record is I did put some epoxy fill in that corner. Now the wood was damaged a little bit, but I bought metal caps for this and cover all that anyway. And from the factory, they don't cover all that up anyway. Little test fit of the cap. Here's a little bigger spot. You can see, just fill it up. And just continuing to use that silicone mold. This time I decided to put the weight of that battery on there just because it was larger and it's a little hot for the hand. So I just put the battery on there just to help it stay flat and cool down. So this is moving on to the back plate. Decided to respray paint everything. This is just some cheap black paint that I had in my cabinet, literally from, Dollar Tree or something. I just wanted the black base on there, and we'll get into the texturing here in just a second. Here's where I'm using a can of the large turbo can. This is Rust-Oleum's truck bed liner. You'll notice how far I'm holding the can away. I'm doing that to mimic the factory texture of the piece. So it's a very, very slight texture, and it's very, very close to what the factory finish looked like on the cab. I think it came out great. And the rest of this is just reassembly. Tried to get new screws for everything. This was also a piece that I didn't record. These handles I sprayed with black wrinkle paint. You can get that at Amazon, anywhere. I'll have a link below for that as well. It really, really adds a great texture to those handles rather than just the smooth, and a little bit of grip, so if your hands are a little sweaty after a gig, makes it easier to pick it up. They came out so good. Putting the new metal corner caps on with all new screws. Attaching the plates on the back here. New screws as well. The one on the right is the one I painted with the truck bed liner, and you can see it's very, very close to a factory finish. Reassembling the main plate where the wiring was attached. One of the things I did off camera is I put new Celestion greenbacks in this cab too. But this is pretty much just reassembly. I did get new bumper stops. The old ones were pretty damaged, so this is for sitting on the floor or sitting on top of the straight cab. So, and these are the new Ernie Ball casters. The factory casters were completely shot. Several were broke, but didn't swivel anymore. And after wiping down and using some cleaner to wipe it down, you can see this is the final product. No more dings, no more scratches. All the Tolex has been repaired. And as you can see, you really can't even see where all the patches were. If you get right up really close, you can, but it came out very, very good. Thanks for watching.